The snow fell relentlessly, blanketing the battlefield in a harsh white that muted the sounds of distant clashes and muffled the cries of the wounded. The cold bit deep, an unyielding adversary that showed no mercy to the weary or the weak. At the edge of the chaos, a solitary figure knelt, her vibrant blue hair a beacon against the stark desolation. She was Sarah, a warrior who had survived the unthinkable, her black armor etched with the scars of countless battles. The glowing blue accents of her suit pulsed faintly, a testament to the ancient technology she bore, technology that had become both her salvation and her curse. Beside her, a German shepherd sat alert, its amber eyes scanning the horizon with an intelligence that spoke of loyalty and purpose. The dog, named Cairo, was more than a companion. He was her guardian, her confidant, and the last tether to the life she had once known. Sarah's journey to this frozen wasteland had been anything but straightforward. Years ago, she had been a soldier in a cause she no longer believed in, a pawn in a war orchestrated by powers she had come to despise. Betrayed by her own commanders and left for dead in the ruins of a burning city, she had stumbled upon the relic, a piece of ancient machinery that fused with her very being, granting her strength and resilience beyond human limits. But the power came at a cost. The relic's energy coursed through her veins, a constant reminder of the price she had paid to survive. It set her apart, alienating her from those she sought to protect, and marking her as both a savior and a threat. The war had raged on, an endless cycle of destruction and despair. Sarah had tried to walk away, to carve out a life in the quiet corners of the world where the conflict could not reach her. But fate had other plans. The Syndicate, a ruthless faction hell-bent on controlling the relic's power, had hunted her relentlessly. They burned villages, slaughtered innocents, and turned the very land against her in their pursuit. It was in one such village that she had found Cairo, a frightened pup hiding amidst the rubble of his destroyed home. She had taken him in, and over the years, he had grown into a steadfast companion. Together they had become legends, the warrior with the blue hair and the dog who never left her side. Now they stood on the brink of a new nightmare. The Syndicate had uncovered something in the frozen north, a weapon unlike any the world had seen. Reports from scattered resistance fighters spoke of a device capable of reshaping reality itself, a tool of unimaginable power that could end the war in an instant, or plunge the world into unending darkness. Sarah knew she couldn't ignore this threat. Her relic, ancient as it was, resonated with the energy emanating from the Syndicate's weapon, pulling her toward it like a moth to a flame. It was a call she couldn't refuse no matter how much she wished to. The journey had been brutal. The cold gnawed at her bones despite the advanced insulation of her armor. Food and supplies were scarce, and the relentless blizzards made every step a battle in itself. Yet Sarah pressed on, driven by a sense of duty she couldn't shake. Cairo's presence was her anchor, his quiet companionship a balm against the solitude that threatened to consume her. Together they navigated treacherous ice fields, scaled frozen cliffs, and evaded Syndicate patrols that prowled the region like wolves on the hunt. As they approached the heart of the Syndicate's operation, the air grew heavy with tension. The snowstorm seemed to abate, revealing a sprawling complex nestled in a crater of ice and rock. Towers bristling with weapons loomed over the facility, their searchlights cutting through the gloom. Sarah's grip tightened on her weapon as she surveyed the scene. This was no ordinary base. The Syndicate had poured their resources into fortifying it, and the relic within her thrummed with a warning she couldn't ignore. Under the cover of darkness, Sarah and Cairo descended into the crater, moving with the practiced precision of seasoned hunters. The facility was a maze of steel and ice, its corridors patrolled by soldiers clad in advanced exosuits. Sarah's relic-enhanced senses allowed her to anticipate their movements, slipping past them with a fluidity that defied logic. Cairo followed close, his paws silent on the cold metal floors, his nose guiding them toward their goal. At the heart of the complex they found it, the weapon. It was a sphere of pulsating energy, suspended within a containment field that crackled with raw power. Syndicate scientists and engineers swarmed around it, their expressions a mix of awe and fear. Sarah felt the relic within her surge in response, its light intensifying as if in recognition. This was what the Syndicate had been after all along, not just the weapon but the connection it shared with her. The battle that followed was chaos incarnate. Alarms blared as Sarah unleashed her fury, her relic amplifying her strength and speed to superhuman levels. Cairo fought beside her, a blur of fangs and ferocity that left Syndicate soldiers reeling. Explosions rocked the facility as Sarah's attacks targeted critical systems, plunging the complex into disarray. Yet even as they fought, the weapon began to destabilize, its energy spilling out in waves that threatened to consume everything. Realizing the danger, Sarah made a choice. She couldn't allow the Syndicate to harness the weapon's power, but neither could she let it destroy the world. Using the relic's connection to the sphere, she began to absorb its energy, channeling it into herself in a desperate bid to contain the impending catastrophe. The pain was unlike anything she had ever known, a searing torrent of power that threatened to tear her apart. But she held on, driven by the memory of every life the Syndicate had taken, every home they had destroyed. When the storm of energy finally subsided, the facility lay in ruins. Sarah knelt at the center of the destruction, her armor scorched and her body trembling. The weapon was gone, its power now a part of her. Cairo stood by her side, his fur singed but his spirit unbroken. Together, they emerged from the wreckage, the first light of dawn breaking over the horizon. The Syndicate had been dealt a crippling blow, but Sarah knew the fight was far from over. The power she now wielded was both a blessing and a burden, a tool she would use to protect the world even as it set her apart from it. As they disappeared into the snow-covered wilderness, Sarah and Cairo became a symbol of hope for those who resisted the Syndicate's tyranny. Their journey was far from over, but for the first time in years, Sarah allowed herself to believe that victory was possible. And with Cairo by her side, she knew she would face whatever came next with unyielding resolve.